Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol was directed by Brad Bird and it starred Tom Cruise, Jeremy Renner, Paula Patton, and Simon Pegg, and we finally made it to the Mission Impossible movies with a subtitle. We finally made it to the great one. And welcome to my Geek Classic reviews for Mission Impossible movies. I already reviewed the first 3 films. We only have Rogue Nation after this, and like every other Mission Impossible review until now, and every Geek Classic review in general, this review will have spoilers. You are warned. Please go watch this film. Let's go. After the breath of fresh air that was Mission Impossible 3, it took a weirdly long time for us to get Ghost Protocol. It took 6 years or 7 years. And everyone, again, doubted if Cruise was now old enough to still pull this off. And just like when they first saw the first Mission Impossible film, they all swallowed their words. He proved every doubter wrong. Everyone basically dropped their jaws once more, not only with Cruise's performance, but with the film in general. This was Brad Bird's first live-action film. It was his live-action directorial debut, and the dude kicked ass. After the disbanding of the IMF for causing the Russian 9/11 with bombing the Kremlin, the president disbands and evokes Ghost Protocol, and now Ethan and a small team are the only ones able to stop the terrorists with the nuclear launch codes before he bombs basically the entire world. And like I said, Brad Bird directed this film. The man behind The Incredibles, now Incredibles 2, Ratatouille, he came on to a Mission Impossible film. Whoever thought that would happen? Nobody. He directs the crap out of this film. It is so crisp, so electric. There's such an adrenaline to everything. It makes every scene feel exhilarating. The polished look and the cinematography are wonderful, and the fight sequences are tremendous. They're the best in this franchise. They look like they came right out of the Incredibles movies, but they are actually happening in front of our eyes, in front of the lens of a camera that someone is capturing and someone is choreographing. And the stunt work is awe-inspiringly captured in big wides, allowing us to relish in the scope and scale of everything in this film. And the characters are also excellent, much like in any other Brad Bird film. This truly is an ensemble movie. It understands team dynamics. This is not just the Tom Cruise / Ethan Hunt action hour. Benji, who came in the last film, has a much bigger role in here. He's now a field operator, and he has this history with Ethan Hunt, and they share great chemistry on screen together, and he adds such good humor to the film. It allows you to take a breath in between all the excitement. That's really well done. And Paula Patton is such a great addition. She's a badass. She's the one who everything in this story is personal to. She brings this layer of darkness into the team and into the narrative that really helps. Again, not only the team dynamic, but her as a character. She did excellently in the role, and I really felt for her. And of course we have Jeremy Renner, who from the beginning doesn't feel like he belongs, but that's very purposeful in this film, because not only is this his best performance up until Wind River last year, he is also the most layered character in this film. He harbors these dark secrets that directly connect to Ethan Hunt that I'm going to mention near the end of this review. And the film starts off with a prison break, which makes this the most suspenseful movie in the franchise ever since the first one, while also bringing to the table the action that the franchise as a whole has become known since the first one. Ghost Protocol has fantastic action, it has good humor without ever becoming a comedy, and it has a constant sense of tension and suspense. We get that by understanding what is at stake right from the beginning, and by each sequence one after the next. We keep finding our characters between a rock and a hard place. Their gadgets fail at points in this film, from the mask maker breaking to the Burj Khalifa sequence, which I've mentioned before is still my favorite sequence in the entire franchise. I still sweat every time I watch it. And while Ethan is climbing, we see the gloves failing. And you get this sense of holy shit is actually going to fall, which is accomplished because we see that Ethan Hunt, Tom Cruise, the team, they were actually there at the Burj Khalifa filming this stunt. This was not CGI, this was not on a set. Of course, Tom Cruise had ropes and everything, he was very safe, but in a film, watching this and seeing his legs dangling, it works for us to feel everything, feel the air on his face and all. And there's also an incredible sense of urgency in this film. From beginning to end, there's not one scene that doesn't feel important. It gives the film a sense of adrenaline, it helps it flow better, and it gives it just immaculate pacing. Because unlike Mission Impossible 3, where it only had those moments of adrenaline and action and everything was rushing and everything was urgent, in here we do have great characters. We do have moments to see that dynamics at work and see them back and forth with each other, and we do have moments to flesh them out. Every one of these characters has something at stake. Every one of these characters is layered and is developed throughout the film, and they understand the team dynamic, as I mentioned before. And speaking of pacing and everything working well in this film, let's talk about the villain, played brilliantly by the late great Michael Nyqvist. He's another okay Mission Impossible villain. None of the villains are great. None of the villains are bad, horrible. This is probably the best villain because he's the one who has the upper hand throughout most of the film. He's the one who puts our characters in the harshest place possible. However, the way the film works and the way Brad Bird works this narrative, the villain really is the situation. It is the consequences of what this man does. It is what he unleashes upon our heroes. And that works well for the film, and it makes him the most effective villain, at least. Now let's talk the secret that Jeremy Renner was harboring, because he was on a mission to protect Ethan Hunt and his wife. Some terrorists got the jump on them, and they killed Ethan's wife, and supposedly Ethan, who turned out not to be dead, and he killed the terrorists. And Jeremy Renner has been harboring this memory ever since he failed at his mission. At the end, we get the reveal that Ethan did save his wife, and so Jeremy Renner basically doesn't have anything on his record. He can clear his conscience. And I really like this, because I remember the first time I watched this film, I felt like it was Alien 3. And that's why Brad Bird shot this last scene, because he also felt that the film had done an Alien 3. I'm really glad he respected the previous movie, and from my understanding, Michelle Monaghan is coming back in Fallout, so I'm really happy for that as well. Ghost Protocol brought the franchise to a whole new level in general. It stopped just being about Tom Cruise, it stopped just being about Ethan Hunt and his personal life, and Ethan Hunt being the best. It brought us a team, it brought us a real spy film, a realistic one where everything doesn't always work. It gave us great stakes, it gave us a great story, it gave us layered characters, and it just embraces everything that Mission Impossible already was, but it upped it up a notch. And I am going to say that Ghost Protocol, definitely the best Mission Impossible film, and my favorite Brad Bird movie, is the stuff that dreams are made of. Now, what did you think of Ghost Protocol, my beautiful geekies? Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Is it your favorite Mission Impossible film? Let me know how you rank them up until this one. And next week, we are going to review Rogue Nation right before Fallout. Can't wait to see you there. Thank you so much for watching. Check out all the other reviews I have on the channel, not just the Geek Classics. And so until the next one, you stay beautiful, you stay geeky, and if you haven't done so yet, click the subscribe button and the bell so you can be geeky. United!